We're your hosts,
Aaron Backus
and Jason Kindler.
We like to sit down with our guests to hear their journey, their challenges, and how they impact the local community.
So grab a seat, tune in, and let's get inspired by Jacksonville's everyday workforce.
Welcome to Hometown Jacks.
Welcome to Hometown Jacks. And today I've got someone very special here with me. Tiffany Salameh with News for Jacks.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. So normally the script is flipped.
100%.
I'm so nervous today. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm interviewing the pro.
Yeah, but you should have this down because I interview you so often.
You know what? That's fair. That's a fair point. So let's get into it. Hometown Jacks, we like to feature people that are part of our community, that make our community run, and you are definitely one of those people. So let's get to know each other.
I appreciate
and
that.
our viewers and everything. So the first thing is, so where did you grow up?
Right here in Jacksonville, good old Mandarin.
I knew it. So you went to Mandarin High?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Greenland Pines. So
okay. So you are a native Jacksonville person.
that is right.
And so the city has changed quite a bit.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even just growing up in Mandarin to seeing to where it is now, I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember we lived like in a little subdivision. This is Old St. Augustine Road, by the way, and I'm calling it like a little subdivision. I mean, the road was like 2 lanes and there was like horse farms.
Really?
All next to us.
Yeah. And that's
now
not
there's
that
like a
long ago.
Publix every half a mile.
Yeah. And that's not that long ago.
No, it wasn't. I mean, let's say maybe 20, 25 years ago. Yeah.
That's not very long. So, but you have not been in Jacksonville, for your entire life, right? You had a little hiatus.
Yeah, I decided to try the Midwest out for a little bit. And then I came right back.
You did? How long were you in the Midwest?
5 or 6 years I spent there. And that was like in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah.
So usually when people ask me, where is that? I just
Notre
say
Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. I was just saying.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty cool place to be for my first news job.
Yeah.
You know, usually a lot of people don't know this, but when you get your start in the news world, you usually have to go to what they call a small market, or rather a small town.
Sure.
You can't just get on the airwaves in Jacksonville or Orlando. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You got to like work your way up.
Got to put in your time.
Put in your time.
Yeah.
Make your mistakes in that small market so that, you know, you're not making them here because you'd get fired if you made them here. But anyway, that was really fun to just pack my bags, and I did not know how cold it would be, honestly. I thought I knew, but I did not know.
You got a call and you were like, okay, I got to do it.
Yeah. So I posted a reel on YouTube. So it was kind of like a montage of some of my news work.
Oh, that's cool.
And fun fact, I interned at News for Jacks
Yeah.
in college. So a lot of my clips are from News for Jacks on my
Oh, that's funny.
first, I think it was like 2017 MMJ reel.
Yeah.
I didn't even apply to this job. Like they just saw me on YouTube and were like, hey, you want to come work for us?
The power of social media.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Yeah. So
In the news world.
and I had applied for like dozens of jobs too.
Yeah.
But this one was just like so attractive to me because I was like, well, first of all, Notre Dame was there and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
It was right outside Chicago.
Yep.
Lake Michigan was there. So I was like, I think I can make that work. Versus some of the other offers I was considering as my first news job was like Utah, Idaho. There wasn't much.
Close to Chicago.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you could do
So that was a selling point. Plus the salary was pretty decent
Oh, good.
for living in Indiana, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I think I got the same salary offer somewhere like on the coast of California, but
Total different.
that would not have taken me a long way.
Yeah. You would have been bunking up.
And my dad called me crazy, by the way,
Oh, did he?
when he heard how much money I was making.
My
He was
goodness.
like, "You're gonna leave for that?" And I was like, "You just don't get it, Dad."
It's my passion.
It's like an extended internship. Okay,
That
very interesting.
That's cool. So how does one even say, like, was this like a lifelong dream to be on the news?
So like, unfortunately, yes.
Or fortunately.
I have like the cliche story of like, I wanted to do this for forever. I always read the newspaper with my grandpa.
Okay.
And my family is actually big News for Jacks watchers.
Yeah.
My dad is literally always watching the news. I have to tell him to stop. I'm like, Dad, that's enough. So,
Oh, that's funny. He's watching the reruns.
Yeah, exactly. And like all the talk shows, I mean, I feel like his head is going to explode from all the info he consumes. So maybe that's where I get it from. But Mandarin High, class of 2014, Go Mustangs. I got in trouble actually in school. So this was like a chance happening. I don't think I was ever serious about my career at this point. I was maybe like a freshman or sophomore in high school, and I got in trouble, kicked out of gym class. I will not elaborate, but
come on,
nobody wants to know. They put me in journalism class, and I was like, ugh, whatever, this sucks. I had a bad attitude at that time in my life, and I always enjoyed reading and writing. So, you know, I'm doing the assignments. I'm probably giving it like half effort. And the teacher approached me and she's like, hey, do you know you're really good at this?
Oh, wow.
And that was like ego boost. But it was actually that teacher that inspired me to be a journalist. She was a TV reporter herself.
Really?
And she started telling me, you know, like, you're pretty natural at this. Like, what do you think about helping me start the school newspaper?
Really?
Yeah. So Mandarin didn't have a school newspaper. So I helped her start the Mandarin Times. And
is the Mandarin Times still in play?
I'm pretty sure it's still around, but like I was part of the founding.
You started the Mandarin Times. That's
newspaper.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
I feel like it was pretty, I mean, what else could I do with my career?
That's fun.
You know, and I did enjoy it. And when I went on to college, I got involved at their local paper, which was a UNF Spinnaker. Swoop. I'm like so local, man.
I was gonna say like out of all of our guests, like you're like so local.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
then it just kind of like snowballed from there. I was always terrified of being on TV.
Really?
Believe it or not. Like I just wanted to work a little desk job and write for the newspaper, you know, like take my coffee and my notebook but I had a advisor in college who was like, get real. You have a face for TV. And I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, yeah, you do. And she's like, and newspapers are dying. So you need to get with the program and start, you know, thinking about a career in TV news. And
so it sounds like you had a couple people that
100%.
were mentors and like you can dial back on that. That's so cool.
It is cool. And
not everyone has that.
I'm still in touch with them today.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the advisor of my college newspaper was actually the former news director at News for Jacks.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the journalism teacher from high school, she was a former reporter in like, I want to say South Florida. I think she retired from teaching now, but I'm still in touch with her too. She's like, it's so cool you're on TV.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I guess it is kind of cool. But it really was those people who inspired me and told me, you know, like, you are good at this. You are capable. Because like, I feel like I always doubted myself, especially for a job that's like so forward facing on camera. It is intimidating.
Especially at that age too. Like, like, I mean, you know, it's like, oh my gosh.
I remember going to my internship at News for Jacks, which is pretty important when you're studying journalism, because you have this idea of how the news works. And then you see it happen and you're like, whoa, I was not ready for that. That's crazy. I mean, like it happens at lightning speed. Yeah. So I was just like pretty quiet. You can ask some of the older reporters who work at News for Jacks. They still remember me. They're like, funny. You used to be so quiet. And I'm like, I was scared of y'all. Yeah. But I just sat in the back of the car, watched them do their stories, asked them questions. And yeah, I was
That's
like,
really cool.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, so then you go to South Bend, right? How do you get back to Jacksonville? Did you just decide to come, or was it kind of...
Yeah, I mean, after a few years in Indiana, I had to like face like a question. Like, so I had gone from being a general assignment reporter, MMJ, which by the way stands for multimedia journalist. So I did everything myself. My own cameraman, set up my own stories, edited my own stories, did my own live shots. I mean, like they were getting their money's worth out of me. Yep, we call it one-man banding, and ended up going from an MMJ to an investigative reporter to the main anchor at the desk. And I felt like when I was at the desk, I wasn't happy because I was kind of stuck there.
Gotcha.
In the office doing the 5, 6, 10, and 11 o'clock news.
What is that? Let's stop there real quick.
Yeah.
So like, obviously as a person, you see it and you're watching it, but how quick does that, I mean, I feel like like you don't have time to react. Like you're just kind of
100%. So like as a main anchor working night side, we call it, you come in about 2 or 2:30, show starts at 5. So ahead of that, you have executive producers and producers who have been working on the shows all day long since about 9 a.m. You know, they're producing the newscast, and the reporters also come in at 9 a.m. and they are also producing content for the newscast. So we're like the original influencers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And it happened fast, you know, like reporters are getting out the door by 10 a.m., going to record their interviews and write some scripts for the newscast. But, you know, there is such a negative connotation sometimes with media, like, don't trust the media, like, we don't know, they're just lying to us, they're paid for, they're bought and paid for. And that's crazy to me as someone who's worked in local newsrooms for 8 years, because it is local people who are producing that news for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And no one is paying us. I wish they were.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
It's really just passion that drives it.
Sure.
And it does happen fast. Because let's say news breaks at 4:30.
Sure.
We got to throw away the whole show.
Well,
you know what I mean? Start from the top down.
And then you have, because then of course there's competition.
100%.
Right? So it's like, who's gonna report it first?
Yeah. So let's say a prominent figure dies at 4:30. We are not leading our newscast at 5 with some charity giveaway.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe 2 hours ago we would have done that,
right.
But you know, things change and news breaks and it happens fast.
And you got to be on point.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to just.
And you know, everyone can be a journalist these days. You have a phone.
Sure.
You get on there, you record your selfies, and you actually do share news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But credible journalists have education. Mm-hmm. We have a background. We know to check our sources. We're verifying things. We're not just sharing things that have not been vetted.
This is so good because obviously in, you know, and I'm not going to say mainstream. I'm going to say like social media world.
100%.
Like everybody's like, you know, the new, like there's so many stories. There's so many things.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you've said this and it's like, no, it is. We're vetting this. We're making sure that it's credible.
There is real value in local news.
Sure.
And, you know, if you're going to watch any type of news, it should be local. Because that is going to be the most authentic. And it really is like a passion project for so many people. We don't do this because we're making, you know, millions of dollars. We do it because we care about informing our community.
Yep.
I could say that about like 100% of the people in our newsroom locally. And of course,
just 100%.
100%. So of course there are critics, but it is interesting how the news cycle and news has changed with social media because there's a lot of misinformation online.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There was just a shooting outside of TPC on Saturday, was it? I mean, people can get online and say, look what's happening, this, and this happened. And that might be valuable to an extent.
Yep.
But, you know, we have sources with the police department. We're actually getting the press releases, the verified information that we are sharing. We're not just sharing, you know, of course, a certain part of it is eyewitness news, what you're seeing. But majority of it is, you know, your sources and your credibility. So
I would say like just take that one, not to go into the story, but I was just scrolling this morning on Facebook and there were so many different stories and opinions. And like, if I was just looking at social media, I wouldn't know what to think about that particular story, you know? So that's a good point.
Social media will put you in a bubble too. Mm-hmm. So you only see the opinions you agree with and not like the viewpoints, you know, of people from different races, different backgrounds, different education,
Yep.
and that's sort of what the news, local news at least, will strive to do, is to give you an unbiased opinion, where you're getting information from both sides. So, if someone's running for governor, let's say, we're going to get both sides.
Of course, yeah.
This is why they're running, and this is why the other side's running. This is what both of them say. So you can form an opinion on your own. I mean, that's what every local news station is trying to do, is just present the facts.
I am so going to be on the news every single day, like your
Gonna
dad.
be tuned in.
That's a really good point that I don't think a lot of people think about, is like, if there's no agenda,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because all we hear is a lot of agendas, right? But if there's no agenda, you do have both sides.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually going back, I believe, like when I was growing up, it was like, okay, the news was your fact source.
It was,
right?
yeah.
And definitely local.
Now there's
So I'm glad to
hundreds
hear-
of them.
Yes.
Whew. That is overwhelming.
Yes, it is overwhelming. So news for Jax, we're giving both sides.
I mean, we're really just hyper local,
Yep.
and we are independent, by the way, like not owned by a Fox or an ABC. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're one of the few independent stations in the country. And Jacksonville has a big taste for news,
Sure.
which is why we were so successful when we first started. And to go back to your earlier question, how did you get back here?
Yep.
It was a dream. I saw how they worked when I was in college, and I admired those people so hard. And I was like, I am going to, at some point in my career, work at News for Jax.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
So with the news,
Uh-huh.
I know, we met, I think, a couple years ago, but
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, in the busy, world of social media and everything like that, like, how are people tuning in? I'm like, people aren't really tuning in, right? But then you introduced me to, oh no, there's streaming, there's social media, and News for Jax does an unbelievable job on social media. So kind of, if you could just take us through, like,
Yeah.
there's where it used to be just what was on television.
I know, that's crazy.
What does that look like now?
Oof.
Like
What a question, Jason. I taught you well.
how good.
So, yeah, I mean, even when I started years ago, it was different than how
Sure.
it is today.
Yep.
You were only worrying about your television product. What goes on the news comes first.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We would have a website, right? But I mean, something could happen at noon and it wouldn't get posted online till like 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And who's that helping?
Yeah.
It's crazy now. Like, something happens, and we do have a team of web producers and journalists who are like, oh, we're getting this on the line immediately.
Yep.
Court cases are happening. We're sharing that. We know the governor is going to be holding a press conference in St. Augustine. We're sharing that like almost immediately in the form of like news articles.
Yep.
And then social media is interesting because now, as a reporter, we have been asked to tailor how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe don't worry about TV first. Why don't you worry about that social media video? Because you really do reach
Sure.
a lot of people there.
Yep.
And it might be a different person than you reach on TV.
Sure.
It could be someone younger, someone who just doesn't have the time to sit in front of the TV for hours a day and watch the news. So yeah,
I know-
it's interesting.
I mean, I've done it myself where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to News for Jax, go
Yeah.
to the stories, and like just let me just kind of get an idea what's going on.
Yeah, there's
'Cause I
dozens
don't
of
have
people
time. Yeah.
that are helping to do that. Because, it's not antiquated anymore where, it was on the news at 6, it happened at 10 a.m., and then, you'll see it maybe next morning.
Yep.
It's getting done fast.
Yep. I know the even on the website, like
Yes.
the website stuff, it when I go to News for Jax, it's like boom, boom,
Yup.
like it's quick.
We're working.
Yeah.
We're working hard.
I see that.
But it is super interesting as a reporter, because people have been doing this for decades, right? I mean, TV news has a style. It has like a purpose. You get the big stick mics, you got the standard live shots, but I feel like local news is transforming, to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more authentic, really, where you're sharing question and answers and raw interviews. And, you have just a reporter talking on a selfie video, telling you what's going on. And that really didn't used to happen.
No, I mean, it had to be fun. I mean, just, in any business right now, like, with our company, like we have a huge social media presence.
Isn't that crazy?
We have, I mean, we have nothing to do with social media.
But
right?
it is.
But it's that's where people are going.
It's everything. It really is. So it's interesting. I've always had a passion for media, right? And now I feel like everyone's catching on.
Yeah.
Social media,
and
influencers, all of it.
Yeah. And News for Jax, I mean, you know, as far as locally, I mean, you guys dominate, on the social media side.
We have been doing it a long time.
Yep.
Social media, probably more so than our competitors have been. And we might have even been the first in the country to say, hey, we got to be on social media,
Do you think that has to do with potentially being independent?
Maybe it could. Yeah. It could. Because we do have, a lot more leniency and, let's say, creative freedom.
Yep.
But I really think it's just the talented people we have working there who recognize social media is where we need to jump in.
Sure.
Still
keep your, still have the traditional news as a medium, but you're branching out to, where
reaching
people
more
are.
people everywhere else. And the streaming is interesting too.
Yeah.
If you don't have cable, no problem.
Yeah.
Just stream it on our app, which is cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're even expanding from traditional newscasts to streaming newscasts only, where you won't be able to watch it on cable. You actually will only be able to watch it online.
Interesting.
And it's more of a podcast style, I'd say, longer conversation versus 30 seconds of this happened and then this happened. It's let's let it breathe. Let's let these stories have some time, because you don't always get time.
No. And it's funny you brought that up, because when you were talking before, I was thinking about just where things have gone in media, right? So if you think about a podcast, right? Podcasts, there are some podcasts that I will sit and, if I'm on a road trip or something, I will listen to for 3 hours.
Wow. That's impressive.
Not every day, but I think people are consuming that type of content.
Yeah.
To where, it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
Whereas the news is, boom, 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 boom.
Well, I
so
think
that's pretty cool.
It is cool. I think podcasts and documentaries are definitely influencing the news industry, because they are widely successful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have these reels and TikToks that are 10 seconds. You can barely hold attention. We're fighting with that too.
Yes, totally.
How long can I keep someone interested in my story?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like in even on the scroll, am I going to even get them to stop?
I know.
How do you program that? So yeah, it's a whole different world.
I know. Anyone who, creates content, is on social media, understands that struggle. So
yes, totally.
We'll get back to the story in just a second, but while you're listening, here's something you should know if you live in Northeast Florida. If you're self-employed and trying to buy a home, it's not as hard as you might think. We work with business owners, freelancers, and creatives every single day. People who don't fit the traditional housing molds, and we're here to let you know that we have a real loan programs that make homeownership possible. We've helped tons of local business owners and creatives get approved using flexible loan options that work for them and their business. First Coast Mortgage Funding is proud to sponsor Hometown Jax right here in Jacksonville.
For me personally, I don't know about you. I mean, some of the things you're talking about with, News for Jax doing, I mean, I love progression. Yeah. I love technology. I love making things better. So I think that, every industry is going to go through. I mean, we don't have time today, but we don't even need to go into AI right now.
Oh my goodness.
That's a whole different thing.
But would you trust an AI journalist, or would you trust me?
I trust you 100%.
So I hope I'm safe.
Yes.
I'm scared.
So we again, not just different industries that I'm a part of is, we talk about that all the time.
Really?
We talk about is AI going to replace you? right? And there's too many things, obviously some industries that may happen, but there's too many things that someone wants to talk to a human being.
100%.
But I do believe in AI, and I do believe it helps people become more efficient. And I do believe
there's a place for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about news and news reporting,
Yeah. But I mean, it's so advanced. I've even seen like rip off News4Jax reporters, AI created. Oh my gosh. I was like, when did we get a new reporter? And I was like, oh wow, never mind.
Oh no.
I saw like the AI bug and I was like, they almost got me. But I started asking questions, which is important, by the way. Yeah. Everything you see online, you should be asking questions. Like, where did they get that information? Are they just making it up? Like, do you have a source?
The thing that I have not enjoyed recently is some of the AI videos that have been just in world conflicts and stuff like that. And they're not real, but they look real to me.
Yeah.
I think that's where I start to get a little bit like, stop doing that. So
it is scary.
Got to go local.
Yeah. I mean, we make fun of, just, the older generation getting scammed. And I'm looking at some of these AI videos and I'm like, wait, I might get scammed off of this one. And actually, my specialty is consumer investigative reporting.
Yep. Yeah, let's go into that.
So,
let's go into that.
Which is, been dominated by these AI scams. So many more people are getting scammed because it's just easier to do now.
Sure.
Like you used to be able to like look out for a typo, if I just use AI and I'm a scammer from, a foreign country, I don't need to have proper grammar. I can just ask AI to do it for me. And, for so many people, it works.
Yeah.
And don't ever pay people with gift cards, Apple gift cards. I mean, I feel like I say that every day, but that is like the number one tell of a scam. Go. Hey, my Zell's down. Can you just run to Walgreens and get some Apple gift cards? The answer is no, people. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's never good. But it's really interesting, what I'm able to do. Investigative reporting is super rewarding because you can get results for people who have been unheard, unseen. You can launch investigations, you can change laws, and that's really at the heart of what I enjoy doing.
That's your passion.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, there were dozens of people who got scammed in Nocatee, and then we started reporting on it because how could someone take money and not give what they're promised? You took my money and you're not going to give me what I paid for? That's crazy. And because of media attention, sometimes you can get things done.
Sure.
We were able to get a state attorney investigation and, criminal charges came away from that. And then in some of the smaller cases, there was an elderly couple in St. Johns County who reached out to me who had been fighting with their bank to get their money back. Gosh, I don't remember how much money it was. But it was enough money to be like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. And, through our reporting, they had been fighting for 2 years. It was a scam, like someone called pretending to be their bank. But the bank, verified the wire transfer when maybe they shouldn't have.
Got it.
2 years fighting to get their money back. We do a few reports. They got their money back by the end of the week. So that's really the power of holding people accountable and changing someone's life really is what you have the capacity of doing.
Yep.
And on the other side, it's education. I have a series called Addressing Affordability, which I talk to you about a lot. I will call Jason and I will say, you got time? I need 10 minutes. I'll be there in an hour.
No. And that's something that's, and I see that on the news side that's really cool is that whenever there's something that happens and you connect with me, it's always like, hey, I want to report on this is my report. I need your opinion. Right. And so I give my honest opinion
as an expert in the industry.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so, that's where I would say, the credibility of investigative reporting is there. I mean, that's huge.
And then, for this series that runs weekly, we are seeking out local voices like yourself. I'm not going to go talk to, a huge banker mortgage guy. I want the local guy who understands like what's happening here in our community.
Yep.
That's what matters. Because, you know, we see national news headlines all the time, you know, are we going to buy these bonds? Are we going to make mortgages 50 years long?
Where are rates going? You know, all this.
Yeah. And I feel like at some point you need to stop and say, like, I need someone to just explain this to me in the most plain English possible. And that's where people like you come in, and my relationships with people in this community come in, because it's really a real estate focused segment, but it's highlighting a huge problem, which is, you know, a lack of affordable housing. And, you know, we were just talking earlier when we started this podcast about how much has changed in 20, 25 years.
Totally.
I wish I could buy my house for what my parents bought their house for.
Oh, me
Come
too.
on.
My goodness.
Someone take me in a time machine to when I was 5 years old so I could have bought a house.
And it's so interesting too, because I always thought of, you know, Jacksonville being very affordable comparatively.
And it still is.
And it still is.
Yes.
Comparatively to other Florida cities. However,
We're getting infiltrated.
when you growth is good though.
I know.
We'll take some, but when we start really breaking down, like, here's how much you have to do, you know, for the median priced house, like, it's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, like, a majority of people cannot afford it.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many facets to this conversation. Is it a wage problem? Are we not building enough? Are we building too much luxury housing? And that's kind of what we're exploring. We're just asking that question of what went wrong and what are the solutions to this problem? How are people helping people, you know, survive this affordability crisis? And even you yourself, you know, you talked about like, hey, you don't have a down payment? I can help you out. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. There's a lot, you know, with, you know, a lot of different companies. I mean, there's different programs, right? It's not, the good news is that on a national level, it's something that is at the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, totally at the forefront of all the agencies and everything like that. So, you know, they're hopefully that there is more and more to come. But man, we, you know, locally, we just try to figure out, is there something that we could, is there some type of product? Is there something we can cut here? Is there something we can do to get more people that are able to buy houses?
That's the power of media though, because like you have so many people who are just sitting on the sidelines like, oh, I could never afford a home. You know what I mean? When really you might be able to, you know what I mean? It's not how it used to be where you had to have 20% down and you had to jump through all these hoops. I mean, really, you just need the income, and then you got to get creative from there.
Well, and also, I mean, just, you know, not just as far as like the local piece of it, like, not everyone might be able to qualify like right this second, but it's worth to have a conversation to say, how can I get there?
Right. 100%.
How can I get there? Could be, could be credit, could be anything.
It could. And it, like I said, you know, my parents lived in Mandarin. They bought in Mandarin. And when I moved back here from Indiana, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just look for a house in Mandarin. And I was like, what? How much money do you want for this house that needs like the whole bathroom and kitchen gutted? I can't do that. You know what I mean? And for me, you know, getting creative meant new construction. That's how I was able to find, you know, an affordable home. And that's like all relative. I get people who ask me all the time, what do you mean when you mean affordable housing? When you say that, like, then you give me a number, and really I can't give you a number.
Right.
It's really just relative to the person. And what affordability means is that you pay no more than 30% of your income on housing. If you pay more than that, you're considered cost burden, and you're just paying too much, you know?
And I can tell you firsthand that most people are nowhere near 30%.
Yes, 50% more like it.
And, you know, on the qualification side, you can get there, but are you pouring every single penny you have or close to it? Are you pouring everything in and you can't live?
Yeah. That's a problem.
That's not good.
But it is, you know, it's still the American dream.
100%.
Generational wealth, you know what I mean?
Renting is not going to ever surpass owning a house.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I hear when I talk to people is like, I just want to own a home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's their goal. And so many people have given up on it just because of the state of our economy. But really, I mean, we are trying to just raise awareness of this issue and the things people are doing to help. And I do think change is on the horizon. We just saw the Senate last week pass a bill that would crack down on corporate landlords.
Yep.
Fantastic. You know what I mean? We've only been screaming that from the rooftop for years,
Yep.
but maybe that could help. You
Yep.
know, there's so many reasons why, you know, housing costs too much, but there could be a way to fix it.
There's some other legislature out there that, you know, that hopefully will pass as well, to where, you know, some lending guidelines and things like that could get a little bit, you know, a little bit lower,
Relaxed, yeah.
a little bit more relaxed, so, you know, it can, you know,
Help
get
people.
more people in the homes.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And gosh, I saw something the other day that made my head spin. And it was like, have you ever noticed, like, on Halloween, like, there's not a lot of trick-or-treaters going around the neighborhood like there used to be? Because I remember,
Well,
like,
I totally
like waves of people going trick-or-treating, and now it's, like, slim to
Yep.
none.
Yep.
And they're like, that's because young people don't own homes anymore.
Oh my goodness.
It's all the older generation. And I was like, oh my gosh, that just blew my mind. But it's so true. I really get like hardly any trick-or-treaters.
You're gonna have to remember that story for October.
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back.
And I'm like, what? You blew my mind. But like, isn't that crazy?
We're totally like on a different tangent here, but like for me,
yeah.
like when we were trick-or-treating, it was like we left home, right? We went and walked as far as we possibly could before we fell over.
Yes.
Now, you know, parents pull up in a car. Why are we pulling up in a car?
The world has changed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're living in an apartment complex.
Oh, true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you just don't know.
Yeah, I
it's
didn't even think about that.
interesting. Yeah, but like those little
Yeah.
like the little shifts in societal norms like mean something. They do. They always do.
Interesting.
That's like the mind of a reporter. Working right
yeah.
now. So yeah.
So tell me what does a typical day
Yeah.
look like for a reporter?
So we have an editorial meeting every morning.
Okay.
About 9:30 a.m. You come in as a reporter, you're expected to have 3 story pitches. So
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And
Okay.
that's kind of shocking to some people. Like, you come up with your own stories and you're like, yeah. So each reporter will have a beat. Like, let's say someone focuses on Nassau County, someone focuses on St. Johns County, someone's focusing on City Hall and city government. For me personally, it's consumer and investigative-based news.
Yeah.
So I'll come in, like tomorrow, I have pitched a couple stories, some of which deal with the Senate addressing affordable housing. Another one is a local company giving away a roof to someone in need.
Cool.
And then I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I couldn't tell you. I'll figure it out at 9:30. They'll tell me, okay, Tiffany, we like this story for you.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't even like any of the stories I pitched. And they're like, actually, this is what you're doing today. There's a press conference happening here. You're going to go do that. Or they might give me some curveball story. You know, every day is different and you just don't know what to expect. And then from there, if I don't already have my interview set up, like sometimes I'll give you a heads up, like, hey, I'm working on a story tomorrow. Do you have some time? That helps me understand whether or not I should pitch the story. Because do I have someone to interview? Do I have an idea of how to, you know, make this story worthwhile and meaningful?
So when you're looking at story or, you know, something and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But even before you're pitching this, you might have to reach out to different people and say,
Yes.
hey, do we, you know, can I?
Like, what's your availability like tomorrow? Okay, I'm going to let you know in the morning, you know?
Yep.
And sometimes I have to shoot a disappointing text message like, I'm so sorry, I have to reschedule. But that's just the name of the game.
Yep.
You know, we're running out the door to get the interviews, to write our scripts, get them on social media, get them on television, get them online. And that's something we do every day. So typically I work with a photographer who's helping me do all that, which is great. I don't have to do it by myself anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, say noontime, I have an interview with a real estate agent But I also want to talk to real people. We go out and just do like man on the street
Oh, really?
interviews. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
that's
like,
cool.
let's just go to the park, or let's just go. We can't really go to like Chick-fil-A or Publix will kick us off. Some public property we're going to, and then I'm trying to find like a character for my story. Like, hey, a real person who's having a real problem trying to buy a home. I want to find them. Sometimes I'm able to like connect with them through people like you, you know, like I'll ask you, do you know someone who's like struggling to buy a home or has been putting it off, you know, and that's how I'll go through things. But most days it's really chaotic. It's like, I need to be on TV. I need a face. Like, it's just convenience, you know?
So I want our viewers to kind of think about this, because I think that, when a lot of people go to a job, right? They go to their career, they go to a job, and they don't have to think through all that you do on a daily basis.
Yes.
And then things change or whatever. Like people would
pivot.
freak out.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. And
No.
there are certainly people who think this is what they want to do. And then, we'll see them quickly leave the industry because they're like, oh, this is way harder work than I thought it would be. But I mean, every day is different. You get to talk to new people, meet new people, go new places, and that's the beauty of it. I get to meet so many incredible people, like I know a guy who 3D prints stuff. Why? I don't know. Actually, he 3D prints houses. He's trying to. I mean, there's just so many niche people I know in this community who are doing great work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm valued as a journalist, as being homegrown, because these are my people. You know what I mean?
we've known each other for a little bit, but it's not. I'm learning a lot today.
Yes.
And one thing that keeps coming across is like passion, passion, passion. You are so passionate about the news. You're so passionate about Jacksonville. Like,
dude, Duval, I love this place.
We love to have you in Jacksonville.
I mean, like, I just care, and it's crazy because doing what I was doing in Indiana some years ago to like doing what I am today, like, I didn't think I'd be here, but it's so cool to have this opportunity.
And you're grateful.
I'm so grateful. Are you kidding me? I mean, like, my grandma will call me if I'm not on the news at 5. She's like, were you off today? And I'm like, no. I sometimes am not on TV.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
But it's really cool. I mean, it's valuable, and I care about so many people who live here. So I truly do feel like I get to tell stories that matter, and I do get to make a difference. So if you talk to any local news reporter, I feel like they'll tell you the same.
That's a really it's a commendable thing.
Yeah, everyone has their niche too. We have some reporters who are all over breaking news. Shooting, fire, I'm there. SWAT situations, send me. So we kind of will just have people play to their strengths and do what they're good at.
So good. That goes for anything in business.
Yeah.
I truly believe, like, if that is their niche, if that's their passion,
right?
Like, let's triple down on that.
It's a great business model.
Yeah.
And I think that what's crazy is that everybody knows like their day could change on a whim.
Yeah.
Even I know that. I mean, I could get a call right now.
Yeah.
And they could be like, "You're done. We need you on TV. The sky is falling. The city hall's on fire. You got to go, and that's just, I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared to go, stand there, do
cool.
live shots, It could happen, and God forbid it does happen, oh my gosh, but it does. It's crazy,
So every day is new, and you welcome the challenge.
I really do,
Yeah.
really do.
Cool.
And it's fun, it's different, it's just rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks out in the last couple of years or whatever that would be something that you're like, oh my gosh, I did not want this to happen? Is there things like that?
Like a story I've worked on?
Like a story.
Like bad news? Or what do you...
Bad news.
I mean, half the stories I cover, I don't want to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there was an affordable housing crisis. Yeah. But, like, in most recent memory, like, the Jacksonville airport caught on fire. Do you remember that?
Well, I do. Yes.
I guess it wasn't the airport. Excuse me.
It was the parking garage.
I'm literally talking about how facts are important. Yes, the parking garage. It was the parking garage.
I have a buddy that his car was in there. So, yes.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, yes, I do remember.
Yeah, but, like, that was a story where I was, like, on the way to a different story, and they called me, and they were like, there are no anchors in the building. I'm a fill-in anchor, by the way. I can do that. But my passion is reporting. Yeah. And they're like, we need you on the desk now. I'm like, okay, 10 minutes, I'll be there. And then you're on the desk, like, reporting in live, real time, just calling people, like, experts. I remember I called, like, a structural engineer on the desk. Yeah. Be like, hey, look at this live picture with us. Can you tell us, you know, if you think there's any saving that garage or where it's going to crumble next? Wow. So that was something that was like, I didn't want to do it, and thinking back. Yeah. But I'm so glad it did. You know, that was important. That was important news to share. People had their cars there. Your friend had their car there, you know, and we're probably wondering, what is going on? And we were able to, like, maybe help.
Well, just what you said there too is like a structural engineer, like what's going to happen next? Like, you know, is
my car done for? Should I start shopping?
Will the insurance cover something like this?
Well, that was one of the stories I had to do.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yep. Consumer news. Yeah. Because believe it or not everyone has full coverage. So what do? If you don't have full coverage in that situation, it's not like you got in a car crash.
Sure. Wasn't your fault.
That's comprehensive.
Yeah.
I could talk all day. I feel like I have to become an expert in a different thing every day. Yeah. So.
Well, that's really remarkable. I mean, that's tough.
Mm-hmm. But I rely on people. I rely on the experts, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm checking facts and verifying things. But, like, you do learn along the way. You learn a little bit. Yeah. I know a little bit about insurance, home insurance, car insurance.
I know.
Healthcare.
I'm sure it's a little bit more than a little.
It's a little bit. Yeah. It's a little bit of everything. Yeah. It's so interesting. Yeah. So, you know, like, I feel like most people don't understand what a journalist does. Yep. So, like, to any HR manager, hiring manager out there, if a former journalist is applying to a job, you should probably give them a chance, because they're probably insanely fast and good at what they do.
Some of that was just from a hiring perspective.
Yeah.
Some of the characteristics you're talking about right there, like those are awesome.
There's a lot of people I know who've left the news business to kind of, like, slow down. Like, hey, I don't want to be running and gunning every day. Maybe I want to work from home, or maybe I just want, like, a little bit easier of a lifestyle where I can just expect to sit at a desk all day. And they'll be like, God, it's so boring. And then eventually they'll come back. I get my manager's telling me I'm doing things too fast.
I'm on a different speed.
Yeah. But that's what we're asked to do every single day.
Yeah.
You know? And it could just be like a question in the morning meeting. Like, well, you know, the city of Jacksonville said this last week. Why don't we ask this question? And then it's just an abstract question that we're, like, trying to answer to just, like, provide real enterprise journalism to people. Because maybe you're thinking that question at home. And we rely so much on news tips, by the way. I would say, like, 75% of my stories are news tips. Like, people who write in for help or say, like, I have this problem. Can you help me? And I feel like slowly, like, more and more, like, people aren't doing that or aren't writing their thoughts in to the news channel. Like, if you have a question about something that's going on in city government or even at the state level, like, why aren't we doing this? Just ask, and maybe we can, like, help. Maybe we can help. You know, sometimes we don't think of everything.
That's a good point. You need people to speak up and then.
Yeah, if you're having a problem, like, why not reach out to your local news channel? And by the way, you do have to be on camera. That is very disappointing for a lot of people.
Really?
When they write the TV station for help, and I'm like, okay, great. Are you comfortable with an on-camera interview? And they're like, cameras? What? No. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can help you.
Yeah, I mean but that part
You know?
of it, that's the integrity part. Like if, as a
Yes.
viewer, like a story with a person,
Yeah.
the person saying it.
It's
okay.
a visual medium.
Yep.
So interesting. There's so much that goes on in a local newsroom. I mean, we could talk all day.
We could talk all day. So can we? You've been absolutely this is so interesting. Us people that aren't on the news don't understand anything that goes on.
I'm so dead.
But you do so. But just having worked with you on some different stories and things like that, like I can see how impactful you are.
Yeah,
you're impactful, and it comes.
That means
from
a lot.
And it comes from your passion.
Yeah, that means a lot.
It comes from your passion, and I'm so glad that you were able to do your stint in South Bend and then get back to us here in Jacksonville. So
I didn't like the snow, Jason.
I don't either.
I missed the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, the lake, it's not the beach.
Yeah, it's not.
They try to tell you it's like a
not.
beach, but it's
You talking
not.
about like the one in Chicago? It's like this
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
yeah. That's not a beach.
Frozen like half the year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
it's great.
Let's go light here.
Okay.
Okay. So, because you are a native Jacksonville person, this one's going to resonate. What are some of your favorite restaurants?
Oh my God, what a question. I love Picasso's on San Jose.
Oh, so good.
Have you ever had their
Picasso's.
pizza?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Hanayori
Okay.
is my I will drive anywhere from across any end of the city to get their hibachi. It's on Beach Boulevard.
Okay.
Little mom and pop shop cooking hibachi. Wow. So good.
I'm ready to go now.
Let's get in the car. Let's get in the car. Gosh, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
So our station's in San Marco.
Yep.
So we're like in San Marco a lot. I love the olive tree, Mediterranean.
Yep.
I'm like trying to shout out the local mom and pops that I know.
Totally. Yeah, we do the same. Like I think that it's important to support local.
I know. Is Juicy Crab local? Because that's amazing.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they have a couple locations, but that is so good.
What do you do for fun?
Wow, what a question. So I'm likely very boring to most people.
Your job is not boring.
Well, that's why like my decompression time is usually like, sometimes you get off work and you want to go play pickleball or go on a hike or I don't know what people do. Let me go run on the beach.
Pickleball's popular now.
I'm not
I heard.
doing that.
Yeah.
I will probably crack open a book. I'll either garden, walk my dogs. I love cooking. My family actually owned a Middle Eastern restaurant here in Jacksonville for like 20 years. So cooking's like a big part of my identity.
Awesome.
That was my first job where I learned to talk to people. And it's still open, by the way, Tabbouleh Cafe. But that's on Merrill Road, towards JU. But my family no longer owns it. Yeah. But anyway, I love cooking. That's like a stress reliever. I do love looking for shark teeth. Shark teeth, yep. Okay. I've got a big jar of them at home. It's like so therapeutic
you probably got a huge jar at home.
I do. Yeah, because I've been doing it like all my life.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
it's kind of sucks right now. Like after they did the dredging on the beach, but if you have a good idea, you can still find this stuff. And other than that, I really like to eat and shop local.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm the same. I'm definitely a foodie.
Foodie.
I love food.
I love that question, by the way.
Yeah.
What is your favorite restaurant in Jacksonville?
My favorite restaurant in Jacksonville is Chop House 13 Steakhouse.
I love that. We just went there for my anniversary.
Nice.
It was insane.
It's the most consistent steakhouse.
Yeah.
And they got other stuff feel like steak, but love the atmosphere. I love it. Yeah. And they opened one in Nocatee. I haven't been to that one
I haven't been there
either. But yeah, food wise,
wow.
That's my spot.
Have you been to Calford Chop House?
I have.
Oh, I love that one too.
You said Picasso's. Picasso's is amazing.
That's a hidden gem.
Again, it's mom and pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a
that
good
pizza, pasta.
Yes. Here's a question.
Yep.
Let's consider that it's not investigative reporting or whatever, but if you were to cover one news story, right, what would be like your ultimate, like, I want to cover this news story?
I would want to go out with O-Search and track the sharks off the coast.
Wow.
That's like crazy, but I would love to do that.
It goes into the shark teeth. Okay.
Yes, it does. Any opportunity to go to the zoo, by the way, I'm there. I just love animals. I have 3 dogs.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I've got a Pomeranian, and I've got an Australian Shepherd Poodle and a Cocker Spaniel Poodle. So I have 2 doodles and a Pomeranian, which all of them are so high maintenance, and like they're all boys, but they're so prissy. And like many of them won't go outside if it's raining.
Oh, okay.
Like their paws cannot get wet, God forbid. These are not dogs you're taking on a run.
No. I get you.
But I love them.
I get you. We have 2 doodles at home as well.
Okay.
So, yes,
yeah.
I get it. Paws don't like to get.
Oh my God, they're so special.
Yeah.
Yeah. But God, I love them. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, most of my time at home spent with them.
That's awesome.
Spent with those guys.
Well, it's been fun.
It has been
fun. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So I just wanted to say, I've got to learn a little bit more about you, and News for Jax is lucky to have you.
I appreciate that. That's really nice.
You do an amazing job on what you do, and you're so passionate about it. And so we're so happy that you're part of Jacksonville, and hopefully you'll be here forever.
I hope so. Hopefully the housing gets a little cheaper.
Yes.
Also, if you have a news tip, you can DM me. Instagram, Facebook, email if that's your thing.
Yep.
Reach out. I'm your girl.
Awesome.
I can probably help.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
The Hometown Jacks podcast is recorded and produced by First Coast Mortgage Funding, located in the heart of Jacksonville. Do you want to be our next guest? Visit our website at hometownjackspodcast.com. We can't wait to hear your story.